Man, I think I need to clear my cache. Hey, hey, hey! We're now live. Love sales, hate selling. Hey guys, I was only 1 minute late. I'm getting better. I am getting better. The West Indian tendencies to be a little bit laid back, they're starting to come out every now, so I'm there. Well, I'm so glad today I'm joined by Vicki Ostrowski. Now, this lady is phenomenal. In fact, we did some training together almost 2 years ago, and
Wow.
I was very nervous when we started, and then I realized that Vicki was going to be my partner, my accountability buddy, and we ended up just gossiping. We never got any work done. There was always the naughty kids in the class. We hadn't done what we were supposed to have done, but we always put the world to rights, and that's the main thing. So, Vicki, thank you so much for joining us today. I know we have a few people have said they're going to be joining us.
Excellent.
You know, hopefully they'll pop in later. There is a little bit of a delay between me getting messages and me being able to respond to them. So, guys, hang on. If you are tuned in, I will be giving you a shout out towards the end. But hey, let's get going because I know you're busy, Vicki, and busy building your empire. But hey, you know, the main thing that we want to know is, what do you do for a business?
What do I do for a business?
What is your business?
Other than putting the world to rights with you. And I love what you said actually about West Indian time. I remember when I was in Jamaica and everything was late, and they would tell me, "No, we're on Jamaican time."
Jamaican time. What do you mean? Don't rush anything, man. What are you rushing for? Take your time. Take your time.
No, I love that. Works with me because I'm always a few minutes late for everything. So what do I do for a business? I help people grow their businesses. I'm predominantly a mindset coach.
Yeah.
But I help people grow their businesses by getting to grips with what they believe about money and how that holds them back.
Oh, what do you mean money holds them back? Tell me more. Tell us more.
It's rarely the money. It's rarely the money. I started my career in accountancy, so please don't hold that against me.
And, I love accountants. They're magicians. They can make money from fresh air.
So, well, something like that. And there was sort of a pattern across small and medium-sized businesses that when they had money troubles, quote unquote, it was rarely actually the money that was causing the problems. It was quite often what they believed about money, what they believed about business, what they believed about their ability to grow, how they could grow, what that should look like. We've all been conditioned in some way to believe that we have certain limits that we need to conform to. And that it doesn't it does. It holds us back in growth, in sort of diversifying in our business, in doing lots of things that we could do to kind of hold up gaps that appear in businesses, especially in times like now. You know, there's a lot of people out there at the moment, and you must have heard it, that are saying nobody's spending any money, so I'm doomed.
I've heard it several times. I mean, I've had a fair few clients who I've actually had to bully into putting their prices up because they wrongly believe that they should pretty much give their service away. And what they don't realize and what they don't remember is if you're doing something for someone that's going to transform their lives, and that's the main thing, you know, what price do you put on that? You know, there's some people, if you said someone can change your life, they probably pay you £1 million because their lives need changing.
Absolutely.
You know, never make the decision for somebody else. I say to people, make them make the decision. Don't decide for them. Make them tell you. You know, So,
and most of us make that decision based on what our own beliefs are. So we make that decision on the basis of what. Oh, excuse me, got a fly. I'm not being a ninja.
With a dance going on there. You see my mother dancing the other day.
Starting a bit of a spontaneous rave. No, most of us form those sort of pricing sort of formats on the basis of what we believe, what we've been told others will pay, and on a lot of self-worth as well. If we don't believe that we've done that test or taken that exam or been doing it as long as the other people, then that can limit us in a sort of big way as well. And this is what I come up against when I was in accountancy. Even people saying, oh yeah, but so and so down the road, they've been in business for 35 years, I'm quite new at this, so I can't charge even close to what they're charging, which is a myth.
It's a massive myth. if it's like, I ain't being funny. You know, I've spoken to, you know, people who've been in business in their field, you know, 20 years plus, and they were trying to compete with, like you say, the new guy down the road because he was cheaper. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, that's not being funny. You've got A, 20 years experience. B, you've got history. C, you've got testimonials coming out of everywhere.
Absolutely.
And you want to say that you're the same as that person there. No, you aren't. You're twice as much or double your price. And
that is the flip side of that. You have people that have been in business for a long, long time, almost sort of fall backwards to what they were doing 35 years ago to try to then engender new business, which probably isn't their right kind of demographic anyway.
It's not the right client. If you bring somebody on for cheap, then they're going to act cheap, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even nice, nothing wrong with the word cheap, guys. Just saying, if you bring somebody on who's paying you, you know, £10 a session instead of £100 a session, then you will get a £10 a session person.
It is that age-old adage. You do get what you pay for to a point. You know, if I bought a T-shirt in Primark, I wouldn't, and other shops are available, but I probably wouldn't expect that to last more than one summer before it had kind of gone misshapen, discoloured. You know, whereas if I bought a
summer, that long.
I'm being optimistic.
You only wear it once.
Whereas if you spent, you know, a few more quid and got one in a slightly better quality, then it probably would last you the whole summer as opposed to a week.
Although I've got to be honest, though, I am, when it comes to designer clothes and stuff like that, I am one of the meanest people going. I refused up until probably 5 years ago to spend more than £25 on a pair of jeans. So yes, you'll generally find me in TK Maxx going down the aisles, and you know, I'm one of the guys who goes to TK Maxx for the day. I don't go through like just to buy stuff. I look at everything, like pull it out, and I go into the changing room 5 or 6 times because I try different things on. Honestly, I'm like, when I go to TK Maxx, I am like a lady. But there's so much choice. But I go shopping once, so I'll go and I'll spend £200-300 all in one go, and I'll get loads of shirts, loads of bottoms, blah blah, and then that's me done for the year.
But then that's another story for another day, really, isn't it? The designer the designer clique is a completely different animal. Some people, you know, I know people who are absolutely on their backsides broke, who are sporting the Gucci watch and driving, you know, looking wealthy doesn't actually work because, you know, there's a lot of beliefs.
I think that's the old school belief as well. Most certainly, you know, shirt, tie, blazer, blah 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 blah. Images of richness, so on and so forth. And the world's changed now.
You make it.
Well, I know a lot of successful business owners who don't wear anything other than a t-shirt. Sometimes they wear a string vest. Well, I suppose if you've got the money, you can do what you like.
Well, if you look at Richard Branson, you know, he's rarely seen in, you know, a really sharp suit. He's very laid back and very relaxed. And it doesn't necessarily scream success.
No, that's the way to go. Okie dokie. So Mrs. O, what inspired you to start this business and this mindset coaching and money mindset business that you're doing?
Honestly, when everything fell down around my ears.
Oh, when was that?
2008. I had been in a building business with somebody that I knew. We'll leave it at that, as new. And we'd done very, very well. I mean, we'd gone from the ground to £750,000 turnover in about 9 months. So, you know, living the dream, absolutely living the dream, which was great. So, you know, we had lots of overheads, we had lots of bells and whistles, we had the house, the car, it was great, you know, living the dream. So going back to what you were saying earlier about, you know, on the outside, we looked like we'd made it.
Yeah.
Then the global credit crunch happened and building stopped. The person I was in business with panicked, just literally like took everything that was left in the business and vanished. So, which was fun.
So I'm assuming your name was also on that business, so that you were liable for anything that.
Pretty much, my name was all that was on the business. I was a bit naive in that respect.
Oh no!
So I was left with nothing. My home, my business, my relationship, everything gone, literally in a heartbeat. But what kind of sort of spurred me to start this was at that point in time, there was little help available to small and medium-sized businesses that didn't involve paying a debt doctor. There was a lot of those about, if you remember that time,
I remember that, doctors.
to, literally signing over your firstborn for them to declare you bankrupt so that you could start over. So,
hey, they'll be back. They'll be back. Trust me. I mean, we're coming into that.
So after a period of kind of feeling a little bit bruised and having to regroup, I wanted to use that really negative experience as a positive one, which sounds a bit cliched. And I studied psychology anyway, because it just intrigued me. And I'd had a background in accountancy. And also I knew exactly how not to run a business when that all went wrong.
Of course.
And I then researched why people do the things they do around money. That was kind of a project for me, and I still do that. I'm a bit of a geek. And that's where my business was born. I wanted to give people real, tangible, human advice that didn't involve signing over their firstborn.
Yes.
And that's where it started. So, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Excellent. Wow. So from adversity sprung this new business, this idea, this concept, and that's great. I mean, the amount of people I'm speaking to who have had something really bad happen to them and it spurred them on to greater things.
The business that we were running at the time, it was never my dream, and that's kind of fundamental to anybody that goes into business. Make sure it's something that is your dream, because that was somebody else's dream that I invested heavily in, got strung along for the ride kind of thing. And although people say, oh, that must have been awful, actually it needed to happen. That was the best thing that could have ever happened.
Learning curve, isn't it? I mean, I was selling insurance not even just over 12 months ago, and did I enjoy it? Not really. It wasn't me, if that makes sense. And the moment I kind of stepped away from it, I felt like a newborn. It's like, it's like, oh, this wonderful world. And it's because I can help people a lot more this way, rather than say, oh, I can cover your life and critical illness and boring stuff. And even the people within the industry, I found very, very stiff.
Quite dry, isn't it? It's quite a dry industry.
So it didn't suit me, suit my personality. So I'm so glad I came out of it. And will I go back? No. If somebody wants any help with marketing it, I'll speak to you. But I ain't going to sell it anymore.
And I feel so much more fulfilled doing what I do now, because I see people go from struggle to those epiphany moments of, turning that corner. Whereas even in accountancy, that's not necessarily something you got. And I mean, you know me, Nigel. Can you imagine me in rigger boots traipsing across building sites? That really wasn't my thing.
I could imagine some of the comments that you used to get when you were traipsing across building sites. Hey, that's another conversation for another day.
Absolutely.
So, obviously, so you've been kind of self-employed for at least the last 12 years now.
I've always been self-employed.
Oh, I think
always been self-employed. I don't think I'm employable.
You like control too much. I mean, tell us about some of the more recent challenges that you've had to overcome.
I think one of the most sort of recent challenges, which you have helped me with, is when, of course,
a plug.
My business used to be going out, seeing people, sitting with them up close and personal.
Yes.
And, kind of doing my best work with them. So I'm quite a people person, as you know.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, sort of things changed for us. And, that's another story for another day again. But I then had to see, kind of gladly, because of what's just happened, consider taking my business primarily online.
Yes.
And for me, who had always been kind of out there doing my thing, which was working really well for me, I felt like I was late to the party. I felt like everybody else was kind of already doing it and was doing it quite well.
They're not. I can assure you of that.
Not everybody. Yeah. And that was quite a challenge, because it was kind of, having to just a new way of being, just a new way of doing. And I still done an element of going out and seeing people.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge, trying to. Tech isn't my strong point. That's not my thing. And
have I heard that before?
Yeah. So it was like, do I need this? Do I need that? And like we established, recently, having all the platforms is great, but if they're all telling people different things, then
If you haven't got one message which results in one action, then guess what? You'll have no action.
Nobody knows what's going on. So yeah, so that I think was one of my biggest challenges. And recently, obviously, with all that we've been going through, although it's not gladly affected my business greatly, again, readjusting, because although a lot of my business was online before,
Yes.
I fell into, I don't know if trap's the right word, but I'm a good person and I wanted to help people that were really struggling, and everybody's different. Fell into the cycle of doing sometimes 9, 10 hours on Zoom of a day.
No, don't do
Oh,
it.
that's hard.
Don't
So
do it.
adjusting to doing more online and then adjusting back to actually
Yeah,
saying, no, I can't do this every day.
yeah,
It's not doing me any good.
yeah,
I'm not working on my business. I'm
yeah.
just working in the business. And again, so readjusting and stepping back and
Yeah.
having to sort of my big rocks, Nigel, having
Big
to
rock.
address which my big rocks were.
Have you put them in?
And
Have you
I
put them in?
have, I have.
Oh, you're
And for
good.
those of you who are wondering, Nigel and I spoke last week, and I was overdoing it, and we discussed putting in big rocks. So the things that are really important to me and my well-being and my family, and then everything else fits in the gaps in between, which is working really, really well. So thank you very much for that.
Absolutely,
And I
absolutely.
think,
And that's the thing. I mean, I think there was one week where I did do something like 6 or 7 Zoom calls,
yeah,
and I got to, well, I think it was Friday I got to, and I pretty much just for the whole weekend was like sat in the stupor, and I
oh,
said,
it does, yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that amount of networking again. It's nice. It was good. But you've got to, when I looked at my week and what I'd achieved, it was 30% of what I should have achieved. You see, every day I have a to-do list and I work through it. And I think that week, my to-do list, I think I managed to do one item and I went, no, that ain't building my business. That's just me
And
being.
that's the thing, all of those things are equally as important as servicing your clients, because if you don't do those things, you're going to reach a point, and I hold my hands up to it. I've been in business a very, very long time. I still don't get it right all the time, but I make the mistakes and my clients don't have to sometimes, I think. And, if you're not working on your business, then you're going to get to the point where you've actually done your best work with your clients and suddenly they finish their term and you're like, now I've got to really hustle to get more
yeah,
clients.
yeah. And that's
Whereas if
the
you're
thing.
working consistently on the
Yeah,
business, then
yeah.
that's not a panic.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and this is one of the reasons why I do encourage people to create online assets, such as a blog post, a video, a free report, because if you have been in business for any length of time, chances are that you're starting to hear the same questions over and over again.
Yeah.
What that means is that if you can create the answers to that question in advance, in a blog or a video, it means that when you put that out, you're addressing problems because you're addressing problems because you've already heard these problems before and answered them before. So it kind of replicates and duplicates what you're about, but it means that you can educate people when you're in bed sleeping. There'll be someone sat up looking, they could be going, that Vicki O, she's got some wise words. She has, I'll tell you what. The next step then is either book to speak to you or they send you an email for more information. But I really encourage you. I've had clients who, when we started working together, have said to me, "Oh, I hate writing. I can't write." And then by the time I finished with them, they're like, "Oh, I love writing. I love writing." So we've all got power.
I actually do really enjoy it. That is something I enjoy, and I know that you've given me a lot of positive feedback about that, which is great.
Right. If anyone is listening, you should be. Vicki O, when she writes, she invokes emotion and she gets the grey matter ticking. That's good writing. That's the kind of writing that when you read it, you learn. You can actually move forward in your life just by reading someone's content. So make sure you look out for it. I will be dropping her links and so on. In fact, Vicki will be dropping her links and everything else in the comments later on today.
No pressure.
So, someone decides, rightly or wrongly, they're going to start a business in 2020. And they came to you and says, Vicki, I'm about to start this business. What advice would you give that person?
Oh, there's so much. I think one of the most important things, though, which I'm seeing a lot lately, and it's something that I did sort of 5 years ago when I bought my business online, don't waste your time comparing yourself to everybody else doing similar. It will cripple you.
Love that. Love that.
So many people, and I work with people frequently that are, but so-and-so's doing this, so-and-so's doing that. You've also got to bear in mind that, social media is a blessing and a curse. It helps us run our businesses in a completely different way to what we did 10 years ago, which is fabulous. I work with clients all over the world, which I wouldn't have worked with had we not had social media. However, there's the other angle to it whereby it's only ever a highlight reel. So if you believe that people are doing things in a certain way, and you're constantly trying to emanate that and live up to it and do what they're doing, you're never going to get ahead in your own right. You are, even if you're doing similar to me, you are so unique that we will never do things the same way.
Boom. Love that.
So that's the best piece of advice I can give you.
Did you hear that, guys? This isn't go compare. We ain't trying to be the same as Jack down the road who's doing what you're doing. Jack's Jack and you're you. So stop comparing, because if you're comparing, you're also hurting that.
Yeah.
Because that's them thinking, well, it's not going to be as good. And, you shouldn't press publish. And, maybe you shouldn't post today because Jack didn't post. Don't worry about Jack. I'm just using the name Jack. So anyone who's called Jack, I'm sorry for offending you. Do not compare. This is not go compare. Be who you are. Be the unique you. Some people will want to work with you. Some people won't.
Absolutely.
There's 7 billion people in the world. You can't work with all of them.
And I've been told that some of my stuff that I put out there is a little bit kind of close to the bone, and it offends some people. They're not my people.
Exactly.
So don't overanalyze what you're putting out there either. If it's true to you, if it absolutely emanates your personality, that's what people are going to work with you for. They don't want some cookie cutter robot. They want to work with you and your unique gifts and your way of doing things.
Absolutely.
So stop comparing.
Hey guys, some serious pearls on this live, some serious pearls. And in fact, before we go to the last question, I'm just going to say hello to a few people who've jumped in because hold on a second, I've got to do this so it's quiet. So I'm having to use my phone to look at the comments and oh my goody aunt, let me turn that down. So a big shout out to Lisa Ty. Hi, Lisa. And Karen, how you doing? Yeah, Lisa, your rave twin is online. I know about you, Lisa Ty, and your white glove and your glow sticks. Yeah, we know all about that. Jen Styles. Hi, Jen. Hi, Julie Bissell. Good to see you, hon. Yes, Jen, there's nothing wrong with TK Maxx. I love TK Maxx. Kaisi, Glenn, what do you mean? What's terrible? Ernie, yes, we're always trying to talk your language, mate. So we'll go on to our last question, Vicky. Is there anything that the group can help you with right now?
Help me with? Oh. And that's actually a really, really good question. I love that question because that's another thing that I have been guilty of, and I find with a lot of people I work with. Don't try to do all things yourself. And I'm not very good at marketing and technology, and that's what this group will be continuing to help me with. I do my best work with my clients and we get some massive results, and I love those moments where it's literally boom. But I am not a strong candidate for marketing and for technology and for knowing what to post where and what that should look like. So that's what this group can help me with, is keeping me on track with that. Absolutely.
Okay. And if there's anything specifically around marketing that you'd want to learn about over the next couple of months, what would be that number one thing for you?
For me, it would be getting everything fluid. And we spoke about this last week, didn't we? It's like I had all the platforms, I was doing stuff on all the platforms, but there was no fluidity. It was a bit of a spray and pray approach to marketing. And spray and pray. I hold my hands up to that, and I'm lucky whereby I'm busy, so it wasn't a major concern of mine. But equally, I need to be mindful of, if we have another peak with this COVID thing, we could end up locked down again for another 10 weeks. I hope that doesn't happen. But equally, if I've got all of these holes in my marketing, if I do have a quiet spell, that's actually, and this is true of all of us as well, and I say this to my clients, I wouldn't try to sort of fix their marketing. That's not my thing. Mine is the money and the finances and the business kind of, the nuts and bolts. If I needed to sort of look for more business and I'm a bit all over the place, that's going to be twice as hard for me to do. So
one of the things you said there with the fluidity, and because you are quite active anyway online, is once you have that fluidity and you have the one message which resonates across everything you do, it makes it clear then to the people looking for you or looking for someone like you. This is the person who can help me. I did a talk last week on All for One networking, and it was about ducks, and it was about when you feed ducks, they follow you. Exactly the same principle. You know, what you're doing is you're throwing out breadcrumbs. You're throwing out breadcrumbs, and you are trying to attract the ducks who like the taste of your bread and want to follow you back to wherever it is you want them to go back to, whether it's a slaughterhouse, joke, I love ducks, your web page, your landing page, your opt-in box. And once you're fluid, that becomes so much easier because then every action you take online will influence that funnel.
Yeah.
Vicki, I don't want you to go now. Right, guys, has anyone got any questions before I let the wonderful Vicki? Vicki, tell us about your program. What's it called?
My program is literally called Master Your Mindset. It's a 12-week program at the moment. It's 12 weeks, 12 workbooks, 8 visualizations, 12 group calls with me, and see phenomenal results through that. That is also for those people that actually don't want to see my face on a weekly basis. That is now being sort of scaled down into a DIY course as well, which is available as from July.
And are you creating a waiting list for that course?
I do already have a waiting list, because if people can't afford me one-to-one, then they'll ask what else is available. So then ordinarily they'll do my course, which is 12 weeks with me. But equally, some people just want to dip a toe in, see what I'm about before they kind of build up to the big stuff. So that's why we've now got the DIY course, which will be available in July. So anybody who would like to hear more about that, then let me know. And we
all want to hear more about it. So what I want you to do, you're not getting off the hook that easily, is when this is finished, I want you to go back into here and in the comments, we want a link to your website. I want a link to your course and the waiting list, so that the people then can go and click on there. And if they're interested, they can get added to it. Guys, I highly, highly recommend getting involved with Vicki and what she has to offer. Whether it's the course, whether it's the done for yourself, you will learn, you will move forward. I'm not even going to say you might, you will. You know, if you take it and put the action in place, then you will see results. There's no ifs and buts and maybes. So I've got no more. Ernie, can I recommend a program I just joined, which has taken all the thought out of being consistent? What program is that, Ernie? I'll be talking about me, mate. So going to say thank you again to Ernie, Glenn, Lisa Ty, Jen Stiles, and Karen Bourne. Thank you for joining us this morning, guys.
Thank you. Brilliant.
Links in the comments, so go and check out what she's got to offer. Later on this week, we have got the lovely Jen Stiles on as well. I know 2 people in 1 week. I know I'm really spoiling you. And if you want to follow up with Vicki, Vicki's also going to put all her links to her social media as well. So if you want to follow her and find out a bit more about what she does and how she helps people, then please do. But guys, thank you very much. Vicki, don't go anywhere, because we can talk after this is all finished. Guys, have a wonderful day. I might bounce back on again a bit later on. I've got a few things to say. One might say them tomorrow instead. It depends how I feel. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch up with you all later on. To the pip!
Bye.